I've always been fascinated with Pat Tillman, and I saw snippets of the Tillman Scholars, and just how, these men in the military, women in the military, they benefited from Pat Tillman. They talked about him. They didn't know Pat Tillman, but just that legacy there, how powerful. And I remember lobbying the NFL when Pat died, single out the 42-yard line in every NFL stadium, because you should have this as a learning moment, not a teaching, but a learning. So if your son or daughter goes, why do they have the 42-yard line? So you don't forget people like this. And of course, it fell on deaf ears with the NFL because they're like, well, if you do it for Pat Tillman, I go, how many guys are going to leave football to die in back? Yes,
do what
crazy.
He did. Yeah.
What did you find out about Pat?
So I too have always been fascinated by his story. I mean, I have a lot of my family members have served in the military, and so that's where it resonates with me. Also, I met him when I was working for the Today Show, and I remember I was anchoring the early Today Show and had to report on his death, and it was just, I mean, everything about him resonated with me and all of us who cover sports, and we call these NFL players heroes, and then you look at like what a true, unbelievable hero he is. So I mean, here's what we know. So this is 15 years after his death. So here's what we know about Pat Tillman. Obviously, that he rose to NFL stardom and that he walked away from this multi-million-dollar contract to become an Army Ranger, and then of course he died on the battlefield in Afghanistan. But so what what we did tonight, this show. So NFL 360 is sort of like the best of the best in the pieces that we can work on. Literally been working on this for a year, and went to Fort Benning, and we're with the 75th Ranger Regiment, and just the video and everything that we have in here is amazing. So we talked to a master sergeant who served with Pat and talks about how they all reacted the day that they learned that he died, and I think what this really is tonight, like you were talking about, 15 years later, that he lives on through all these Tillman Scholars. So the Tillman Foundation was born because after he died, people started sending in checks to the Arizona Cardinals, like $5, $50, $100, whatever, saying, I don't care what you do with it, just do something in his name. And so they founded this Tillman Foundation. And so the Tillman Scholars there's 635 of them, and they add 50 to 60 each year. And they're our future leaders. Like they're the best of the best, the brightest minds. So biochemists, they're all service members or veterans or their spouses. And the Tillman Foundation funds like their service to our country in a new area of pursuit or a new field of study. So they're Harvard Law graduates, they're NASA astronauts, but that the Tillman Foundation has helped them get there.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV, stream for free on BR Live, or download the Dan Patrick Show app.